Hello, everyone, and welcome to another music technology session here with the Georgia Department of Education. Glad to be back for another month of lessons and professional development. This month, we're going to be talking about arts integration at your school. And we're going to try to break it down in a few different categories. So, this first one, we're going to talk about how we can infuse and integrate music technology into other art classes that already exist at your school. So we want to get in there and really look at how do we get this to happen to have a cohesive art program at your high school. So we're just going to break it down by the different arts. So the first thing is how do we get involved with other art classes? So mainly here, I'm thinking, how are you going to get involved with band class, chorus class, orchestra class, these performing music classes? Well, I think one of the best ways to get your hands in there and get dirty is to actually record their concerts. Or if you don't have the ability to come to their concert and set up and record, then you might be able to set up a recording session for them during their class time. So in that, your students are being able to learn how to set up mics, how to run microphones in an audience, how to position, how to make sure that the gain levels are set, how to pack up, packing and unpacking, and all those things are big parts of being a music technology person. So making sure that the students can do that is really important. It's also important for them to be able to experiment with different microphones and miking techniques, because different ensembles are going to require vastly different microphone techniques from you, the teacher, and the students to be able to capture the best sound. So this provides the students live, in-person, real-life scenarios for what it feels like to be a recording engineer, which is an important part of the curriculum, making them feel like they're doing it in real life and having fun with it. So I cannot recommend enough that you get in there and make these concert recordings for the different classes. I know it can be difficult if you have a large classroom, but hopefully you can train a small group to go and do and come back, and they don't need you there 100% of the time. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Something that you'll have to kind of work out within your own program, how that works. Another thing for music classes, this has become very popular in my music technology class since COVID hit, is recording auditions for students. So there are a lot of times that our students are going to need to be able to have a very good recording of themselves to submit for like a college audition, an all-state you name it these days. Like, they just need the ability to hook up and have these great sounding audition recordings. So a lot of times I will set up my digital audio workstation and set up really nice microphones. I try not to put any major effects on the performance, because I don't want to taint their performance against someone that doesn't, and the people that are judging these want a very realistic sounding representation of what they're doing. So I don't like add huge slamming compressors and massive reverbs and anything like that, but I just set up Logic to be the channel flow, and then I will output my cable from the DAW to the microphone slot on the camera, and that way the signal from the DAW is what's feeding the audio feed on the camera. So you can get a good synced up recording that way, because you should be able to get through Logic or Soundtrap or any DAW that you're using, Ableton, Pro Tools, you name it, Studio One, without enough latency to matter at all if you're not putting effects on the microphone. So recording auditions for students has become a very popular one and really good for testing out microphone positioning and capturing that good realistic sound. Highly recommend this one as well. Producing backing tracks for music classes. A lot of music classes that I know of are teaching improvisation and different skills that go along with this. My wife teaches orchestra. They were recruiting at one point in time with Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid. So they wanted a very islandy feeling backing track to go with their Under the Sea. So my students were able to come up with a backing track that they could use to make their Under the Sea experience feel really good and islandy and hip. So that's a lot of fun. Kids in these classes will really enjoy playing music along with something that's popular like that and feel good about it. So there you go. Other music class ideas is use performers to improvise as your studio musicians. So I myself sub in for my students from time to time as a studio musician, but sometimes they just really want a violin player, or they really want a cello player, or a clarinet or trumpet or whatever. So you can borrow some of these music students that are already so good at their instrument, bring them in, allow them to be studio musicians. This is a cool experience for both the music tech student and the performer, because it gives them this real world taking direction kind of thing, where the music student has to be able to effectively communicate in musically understood terms what they need from the performer, as well as the performer has to be able to adapt to the student's vision for what the song is going to sound like. So it's a really good learning vehicle for the two people together. Puts them in a new role that's different from the traditional band class role or traditional music tech role. So I'm a big proponent of this. Another way to incorporate with music classes is provide music for seating or transitions at concerts. You can create some tracks that would create a nice mood at a particular type of concert, so they would be able to come together and make that experience more pleasant, and they can just play that through the house sound system at a concert. For dance classes, who doesn't love dance classes? Prime time for music technology students. All the time, dancers are wanting to cut their songs, edit their songs, enhance their songs, create remixes of songs. All these things are right up the alley of your music technology students, especially cutting and doing basic edits. I mean, that's a skill that they can get good at, making a cut in the right place, making sure it's lined up with the beat the right way and you don't lose tempo. All of that is an important skill and something that they can practice in your class and be helping the dance class at the same time. You can also create tracks for the dancers to use in performances that are original compositions. This gets the music out there in front of the students, creates a symbiotic excitement from both programs working on the music and making it tell the story and do everything exactly the way both sets of performers envisioned it, which is really, really cool. If you're working with your visual arts classes, my third level students have to create their own album by the end of their class, and we try to work with our visual arts digital design students to be able to create unique album covers for their albums as they release them. So these are just 3 examples up here of what my students have been able to work together with art students to be able to create. So it's a lot of fun being able to collaborate with visual arts students as well as the musical arts students. Another one for the visual arts classes is have the students work together on a project. And what I mean is, like, have art students create a work of art based on a prime example piece of music that one of your music technology students have created. So that would be a neat way to incorporate that. But you could also reverse that and have the students create compositions based on a work of art by another student. Maybe you pair the 2 students up, and the visual artist creates a piece and the music tech person creates a song to go with it, and they kind of share their ideas in the end, what they were thinking about, what they were inspired about, create a neat the pen pal type relationship there. All sorts of ways that you could take these different things. So like we said, collaborating for album covers, student compositions as working music for artists. So a lot of times our art teachers like to have music continually playing in their classroom. So I'll share that work with them so that they can have music playing in their classrooms that my students created. You can have the digital design students, like your web-based engineers, create a website layout that the artist might use if they were to be publishing their material, which is a lot of fun, or work in creating a logo or an emblem for this particular artist as they are getting ready to become famous, insta famous with their new work. So you might also we just talked about those and getting that creation piece out there so that the artist has stuff to work with. So these are all just various different ways that you can put together a cohesive bond to your music technology piece where it goes out into your music community or your visual arts community at school. Those are your first line of collaborations with people that are already in your department, and create that nice bond for you with your teachers and other students. So I hope you found this helpful. Looking forward to diving more into this arts integration in the next 2 episodes. See you next time.